My name is Deepika Mulchandani is the surname, so it's a long one. I'm an associate counseling therapist with Morning Star. Means I'm not a full-time staff, but I work with mostly their NOVA programs and community clients. I started my career as a teacher, but I wasn't a teacher in Singapore. I've always been a Singaporean, but I grew up in Indonesia, in Jakarta. So I spent most of my childhood and adolescent life in Jakarta, and I was a teacher there in a private school, which is a family-run school. And I used to teach primary school, secondary school, then I think I became more brave, so I tried high school, but the easy subjects, just curious on mingling with young people. And I think when I was teaching, what struck me was I was more interested in the children's behavior than in teaching science. No offense to science teachers. Science is nice, but I think I was very interested in how come certain children present in a very specific way. So we had very quiet students, we had very rowdy ones who would break windows. And I'm like, what's going on? We have all kinds. And I realized that there are two camps of thoughts amongst teachers. One is, do we believe that children want to be the way they are, or do we believe that they can or cannot be the way they are? So those who are not doing well, for example, the first camp of thought is they don't want to do this for whatever reason. The second camp of thought is they don't have the life skills to be able to do this. So these are two, when I talk to teachers, basically I this one is in this camp, this one is in that camp. So my question for myself was, which camp am I in? What do I believe about teaching? What do I believe about children, adolescents that you work with, secondary school, right? And I chose to be in the second one, which says that I think they can't. And then and from then on, it became a journey of exploring. If they can't, then how come? And that's when the whole education process, my choice of education process started. I moved to Singapore and I worked in an RTC. And now it's called a TGH. RTC is a residential treatment center for institutionalized teenagers. It's in Bukit Timah. Now they converted it to a TGH, which is a therapeutic group home. And some of you might be familiar with that. So I worked as a full-time staff. This was 8 years ago. I feel old now. 8 years ago, and I saw even more interesting behavior, interesting and sad. Sad for them, but it piqued my curiosity at the same time. Like, how come? What's happening? And that is pretty much, I think, the frame that I carry. And I don't want to give you theory today. I'd rather give you stories and hopefully connect it to good theory. I promise you, it's evidence-based, like Kyung Seng said. All right? So these are some curious questions from teachers that I have received in my 10 years of working in school setting, both in Jakarta and in Singapore. A lot of teachers, out of so much love, so much care for the kids, they ask, why are they engaging in self-defeating behavior? Why are they doing this to themselves when they are actually very talented, right? And why are they underutilizing potential? Why doesn't repeated telling and coaching work for these kids? And I pretty much had very similar questions. Some of you might already be thinking of kids who are like this and like that. How come? I tell 100 times cannot. Like, what is going to work? Yeah? So I'm proposing the second camp, okay? Just so you know, that is where I'm parking today. So this is a quote, children do well if they can. This was kind of my hope, that somebody believes what I believe, and I found that person. And so now we need to identify the factors that are compromising the skills in the domain of flexibility and frustration tolerance. Now he's proposing it's skills. I am proposing something more which is based on more updated neuroscience research, which I will talk about a bit later. Not in length, unfortunately, but I'll give you an overview. Okay? Any questions up to now? No? Okay. Skill number one. You can take pictures if you like. I don't have notes for you, but feel free to snap whatever you like from the screen. Skill number one is to be able to park in the second camp is asking the right questions. Instead of the why, like before, if you notice here, all the questions are why. Because if we get stuck on the why, it's pretty much a dead end. Because I was in biology class once, we kept asking why. The teacher got frustrated and said, ask God. Don't know. Why DNA helix only open this? Why the coding, da, da, da. The teacher was so angry. I don't know. Yeah, you pray later, you go and ask. I don't know. So I thought, yeah, that's a pretty valid point. If we keep going with the why, we will all end up like, we don't know, ask God, ask the parents, maybe ask your leader, and it doesn't end. So I'm changing the questions, and the questions is what, right? What fact, and I will talk about this in more details, all of them. What factors are inhibiting these children? What is the perception of the self that doesn't allow this child to maximize? And what is the perception of the world that doesn't allow this child to maximize? And the third thing is, what skills are they missing? And these are actually interconnected. The self, the experiences are very connected with the skills that are missing in children and teenagers. So what we often do is we often go here. How come they cannot emotionally regulate? Very popular question from teachers. How come they cannot regulate and calm down? Good question. Let's find out. Like I tell them, I don't know, but we try and explore. Okay? Right, so this is the proposal that I'm making today. This is probably like what I'm going to talk about in more detail, is every single person, including you and me, okay? We all, as we grow up, we have quite a fixed sense of self, which we can change, and the world that doesn't allow, I'm talking about the kids now, the child to believe differently, and they remain unresponsive to adults, that they don't park in their created safety zone. So we have a space around us where we kind of decide, okay, this person's okay, this one's not okay. And this is very unique to everybody. Very unique. So some person I might smile and say, hi, how are you? They're very friendly. Some person I do the same thing, they're like, what does she want from me? Is she trying to take my money, trying to, etc. And all of you must be sensing this. And different countries also very different. Singapore, I noticed, very cautious. Very cautious. In Indonesia, people are a lot more different stance. It's a very different stance. This is because we are shaped by our environment much more than we realize. Okay? And this created safety zone is where, when I meet children, families, teenagers, I try my best with a lot of trial and error to make myself a safe person. And that is the skill for me, which I hope I can communicate some of it for you. First is asking the right questions so that I'm already a safer person. I'm not saying why. Why? You look very tired today. Why? It's very, yeah. But I say, you don't feel very good today. How was your day? So I can still get more information from you, but I'm asking you a completely different question. I say, how was your day? It didn't go very well, hey? Instead of say, why you look so tired today? Why? Everybody's like, why, huh? We also forget. Why, huh? Maybe you're boring, but they can't offend you back, right? So anyway, never mind. So I try to make myself safe when I ask what. What, how, when, who, okay? And the one that I'll be focusing on is the red one, relational injuries. And these are my proposal after studying and working with this group. There's all four. This is not comprehensive, yeah? These are some of the big things. Relational injuries, attachment disruption, I will talk about that. Physical disability, ongoing family complexity, socioeconomic standing. I think you deal with that group quite a bit, right? Your students are majority from a lower income. So we're going to talk about relational injuries and attachment disruption. These four elements are what makes relationship optimum. This is assuming we live in an ideal world, okay, that everything is working perfect. These are the relationship core: physical safety, well-being, dignity, and I'm not going to talk about it in detail because we don't have time. This is a whole another training. But emotional safety is the one I've highlighted. Why? Because this is actually the most crucial and unfortunately the most misunderstood or least understood one. A lot of science skills, we are very good with this to help parents with 1, 2, 3. Pretty good, like other workshops, but we are and teachers as well. But we are quite missing very important understanding in emotional safety. And this is when we see a lot of behaviors in children. Although they have enough, they are adequately cared for, they are protected from most things, have so much trouble because this one is heavily compromised in a lot of families. Okay? And so repeated compromise on relationship core heightens someone's sense of loss and danger. Like what I said earlier, to someone you can say, hi, how are you? You get a smile. To the next person is, because that person has a greater sense or a different sense of danger versus person A. Although I am coming exactly the same way to both. Because we all have it. You have it, I have it. We have our unique template of perceiving, okay, this is safe for me, this is not safe. This one I will get somewhere, this one I will lose a lot of things. Okay, and I'll show you the map so you can do some work on it later on your own. And what happens with the group of kids that I think you are working with, most of them, is they have a very activated fight, flight, freeze. Means their ability to cooperate is on the low. They can't. Because their environment is such that they have learned how to fight, flight, or just freeze, stand there and do nothing. All right? But this is where it's interesting. This is the new research over here, the flock, which we haven't seen much before. If you've attended other kind of, if it's familiar to you, fight, flight, freeze, this is the new one, which I'm really interested in personally, because this is where I think that the recovery is helpful. Is when actually our brain, we are very social. If we are left in a safe environment, we are very, very social. The first thing we do when we are in trouble is we look for help. Actually, and you can see it in children, babies, they cry. The first thing that happens is they are hungry. They don't fight you, they don't run away because they physically are not mobile, but they are looking for attention. And they are asking for someone to come and to be helpful. They're trying to connect, make connection. And when they don't, and then they grow up, and then repeatedly they don't, then they're like, forget it, not happening. Then they have a template that puts them on a very high danger. So even if now I meet a person like that and I try to connect, I will get more of a pushback than a friendly welcome. So when I see that, I can tell, this person has lost a lot of trust in relationship with other people. Okay? Any questions up to here? Am I rushing? No? It's good pace? All right. And this is the story that I will use to explain a lot of the other things. This is a child I have been working with for 4 months now. She's 12. This is from a primary school, going up to secondary soon. The story is, before we go here, I don't want to distract you. This is what happened. I knew her for 2 weeks, and I was going to see her for counseling. And I went to Nova. Nova is one of our learning programs. So I went to Nova to come and collect her for, let's go for counseling. There's a special room for it, right? I went there, and 2 weeks into that, she had a tantrum. I don't know, maybe over subject. She had a tantrum. I walked in, and the first thing she said to me is, I hate you, don't like you, go away. And I was like, ooh, scary. This is my template. My template is, when someone behaves like that, I get worried. I actually don't want to get close. This is my personal template. Right? Most of us, I think, have this template. We had a facilitator who was doing that. She was a very lovely girl, but she's like, oh, I'm having trouble managing this one because it activates her own template. And she was very honest and fair about it. And she told that to me, and I was like, yeah, I also get scared looking at this. You're not the only one, it's okay. So, but you see what's happening here, right? I am not a dangerous person. I'm not coming in with anything sharp. I'm not looking angry at all. In fact, I came to say, hi, how are you? Let's go for counseling. I'm a happy face, right? But this girl has a template that somehow says it's not based on reality. Do you see what's happening? It's not based on reality because I'm not a dangerous person. I'm not there to harm her. I'm not there to hurt her. And she knows that. She knows I'm a counselor. It's not the first time she's seeing me. It's the third time. So in the past, she was okay. Last week, she was okay. But this week, something in her triggered whatever it was activated, and suddenly I became someone she wanted to be mean to. So it's not me. There is a template here that's activated. And a lot of us, I think we walk around, we don't realize this. Then what happens is, like with our very amazing facilitator who was so self-aware, she said, I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm actually avoiding. She's doing the flight. She's like, oh, she can't run away. But she said, I'm actually avoiding because I don't know what to do. And I don't know because that template was scary for her. And and if we do that, we play into the child's template. The more you avoid her, the more worried actually this child is, the more mean things she's saying to everybody. And it is so important, so necessary to reprogram, which is what, in that split moment, because I've known her, I know her story, and I'm the counselor, the first thing in my head was, you are the counselor, you cannot run away, okay, you stay. This is your child, you've got to fix this, okay, you've got to work with this, not fix it, sorry. And so that was a quick reprogram. And I went to her, and the first thing I said, oh, you're having a really tough day today. Empathy. Oh, you're having a really hard day. And then she calmed down a bit. She's like, then roll eyes, all that. And then I said, it's okay. Then she says, I don't want to go with you for counseling. I hate counseling. I never want to go for counseling. I said, oh, that's fine. That's okay. That's all right. Today, that's how you feel. But I was very particular to say today, because last week it wasn't like that. Today, you feel like that. That's okay. No worries. Okay, when you settle down, we'll have a chat. That's when I told them, okay, I'll come back in another. Then I didn't force her, no pushing, nothing. Empathy, left it at that. Why? Very important. This is not about me. This is an activated child with an activated template. And we all have this too. We all have it. I was very aware that this reaction was scary for me. But there is a reprogram that said, it's not about me. It's about her. Because we are working for her at that point in time. Okay? And this is her story, incidentally, which I figured, now I've been seeing her for 4 months. Happy to report we don't have such episodes anymore. She is no more, the tantrums have reduced by 1 week 3 times to 2 weeks 1 time. So it's quite significant in terms of behavior. This is her story. Repeated incarceration for drug-related offense. When the father is out, he's very caring. He gives her gifts. She buy the latest dolls or whatever, gives it to her, very loving, and then she will be exposed to his affairs, and the mother doesn't know this. So she will be carried with him, she will be made aware, so she's lying to her mother, in effect. She's lying, she's very young, maybe 2 or 3. And then the father goes back to jail, and then she has a tantrum. She can't take it because it's too much for her. She loves the father a lot. And then the mother doesn't know what to do. So the mother, because she's stressed, of course, there was a divorce eventually. She was stressed, she didn't know what to do, so she scolded the child, obviously. She has no parenting tools herself. So she scolded, oh, you're so naughty, you're so difficult, you're such a bad child, da 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 da. And then, so that's her world. Like in a small, this is not detailed, this is a small part of it. So I worked out her template a little bit, whatever I know for the past 3 or 4 months now, is this. This is her sense of self. You remember the first slide, sense of self, sense of the world. And her sense of self is, some of these are her words actually, the one on that side. Yeah, the ones on that side, a lot of it actually are her own verbal words. She's a very clever girl, very smart, very insightful. And she says, she's bad in academics. Mom hates me for it. It's not true, actually. But because the mom doesn't have parenting tools, that's what she says. Because I've worked with the mom separately also. So it's not true. The mom is very confused how to handle her child. So it comes across as scolding. Yeah. And then she said, it's hard to like me because I throw very bad tantrum. These are her words. And I don't even like myself. So we developed templates like this. This girl definitely did. I'm guilty, I lied to mom, didn't speak up, I'm greedy, I take things from dad. So imagine, getting a gift from your father is supposed to be a happy thing, right? But in this case, it's a bit of a conflict. Because I take from him, but I'm lying to mom. So there is this like, how do I understand these gifts? So that becomes a relationship template to other people. Is that, oh, people don't stay. And this is my suspicion. When she saw me as a caring person, this is what was activated. That, oh, she won't stay, she's just a counselor, she will go. So I think that got activated, and she was putting me on the test, in effect, to see if I would really avoid her. That was my hypothesis, we call it, my assumption. That maybe that was activated, and so we trial and error. Okay? And then this is the one, people use you, be careful. So she gives her friends lots of things. She gives her friends lots of gifts, but then she will demand that they follow what she says. Because that's her relationship model with the father. I give you, you follow. Right? She didn't have her own voice as a child. Now hopefully we are developing that, but back then she didn't have it. So she treats people like that. Okay, I give you this one. All the girls love this Blackpink stuff. Blackpink band. Is it in secondary too? No, just primary school, huh? Okay. They love the Blackpink group, and then she will give them lots of things and buying into the friendship. And these are the missing skills. These are the ones that becomes very obvious to teachers and parents. Teachers mainly, because teachers are very aware of this. This is your area, your domain of work, which is academic and skills. So teachers become aware of this, and when the background here is not known, we get a lot of frustrated good teachers, very good teachers who don't know what to do, much like the mom. Okay? And yeah, so this is where my job is done. My job is this. Then I help the teachers, the facilitators understand that so they can work with this. Okay, and this is where the working together happens, but teachers are able to connect here too. All right, it's a joint work. This is skill number 2. Okay, I'll stop here. Any questions before that? Any thoughts about any of your students? Any questions? Curiosity? No? Okay. So this is the second skill. We need to map them and have a fair idea where what do we know. And this is the diagram that I wanted to show you earlier. This is safety, danger, gains, losses. This is the one I have done for that same girl that I was talking about. Is what do I know? Where do I start? If you're having a child that you're having trouble working with, this is a good place to start. What is the good? And this girl is very good in art and craft. Very good. And very good in sports as well. Track and field. Yeah, excellent. Very good skill. And then her relationship with her mother, when we started, it was a little bit here. It was a little bit on the danger because they were quarreling a lot. When we started 3 months ago, it was here. So we have work, spoken to the mom, had a mom-child thing, and this is my estimate, I've put it a little bit here. It's mom and child can now hang out together, they can talk about more difficult things, they can go shopping, they can go cycling, which couldn't happen before. All right, so this is after series of work, it's over here. Academic is there. Also much behind earlier, slightly forward now. Father, I don't have access to because he's in prison. He's incarcerated, no access. And so it's, I don't know, I'm assuming it's there because she doesn't see him very often. And that's the skill part, the one that is very good, very interested in helping people get along. But every time she does that, it becomes a bigger conflict because she doesn't know how to do it. Yeah, she will so I've put it there. And this is a very interesting map that you can do with your own children, is where do you want to start with them? Now it really depends how connected you feel to them. If you don't feel connected, then always start in the safety and gain area. Like what do they like? What are they good at? What do you know about them? And if you get that part right, which I will show you in the next slide, then you can work better towards collaborating, towards helping them actually get somewhere a little bit further. Okay? Or you can even choose the poor academic. I mean, you're the teacher. So it's up to you where you want to focus with the children. And this is my proposal, that there is actually, this connecting is a subject of its own, because this is the part that is the most crucial. And if this is not right, you will always be facing kids who are struggling against you for everything. Okay, they're always going to push back at you no matter what you try to teach them. And so the first tip, if I can pass it to you, is connect with them on the safe and gain. Spend time on them, on the activities they're good at, and notice that. So with this girl, what we did was we sat down and we sat down through Blackpink videos and said, oh, you really like this member, you like this one. What do you like about this one? Oh, the hair is very pretty. Oh, why do you like the hair? We're like, what style do you want? Then she made the hair for the facilitators, and she did the braids, and then she did all of that. And then, and then I think her CCA, I was there. I happened to be at the school. And I went in and I said, oh, you're really good at running. How much do you clock in? Like, what is your timing? And then we just did that, a whole round, like weeks of that. Weeks of just connecting. And when she's angry, just staying with, like, I'm here, take your time, I'm here, take your time. Connecting, that's all. And this itself is a very huge part of working with this population. And I can talk a lot more, but I don't have time. But this is very, very interesting, okay? And visit them during CCA, talk about what they like, what they're good at, give genuine praises, because if you're lying, they'll be able to catch you. Okay, if you say, oh, very good, but you don't mean it, they say, actually very bad, like, they will catch it. If you don't like it, don't say it. If you really do, you like their work, you like their art, you say, oh, so good, this one is very pretty, how did you learn how to do that? How questions, remember? Not why. Why you cannot do this is how. Why you're laughing, it's very common, yeah? Why do you do this? Try the how. How did you learn how to do that? Okay? And if you begin too soon with loss and danger, if they really have a very high wall, chances are you're not going to get lucky. They're going to push you away, okay? So safety, gain, and only, I want to be clear, only and only if this is done well, we can move on to collaborative. If you feel like, this child and me have a good relationship, and that is a very deliberate thing. Okay, the first part is asking the what questions. Second is understanding that it's about the child. It's not about you. It's an active template in the person. Okay? And when you move on to collaborative, these are some helpful tips. It's not comprehensive at all, but it's crucial. Okay? So clarifying struggles, ask questions. Again, who, what, when, how. Empathy. Gave you examples earlier, like when that girl had a tantrum. It was as simple as, oh, you're not having a good day. That's okay. We'll talk about it later. Okay? And know why. Okay? And then invitation to take a step is, I think oftentimes we are so used as adults, teachers, trainers, we like to tell people, okay, you do it like this. You do it like this. And we are living in a time and space where this template doesn't work very well anymore. It's in the template of collaboration. It's like, okay, this is my proposal, what do you think? And when you are able to do that, you get a much better response as well from the kids. And especially teenagers. They are already at a stage where they want to feel slightly more independent. They don't want to be actually completely independent. They will tell you that, but it's not the truth. Because if you leave them alone, they don't know what to do. Okay, they're confused. But you can give them that space. This is my idea. What do you think? Or you can even start with them. This is my proposal to how, this girl, for example, very interesting. She took out a pen, a drawing. She says, I'm going to write down, what am I going to do the next time I have a tantrum? I say, oh, good. Then the facilitator came in and said, what do you want to do the next time you have a tantrum? She says, I'm going to distract myself. And she was very clear. She said, can you show me this paper where I wrote, the next time I'm having a tantrum? Then he said, oh yeah, we can. We can help ourselves, show you the paper, and then you learn from your own words. So they tried it, and it worked. When she had a tantrum, she actually screamed, show me the paper, show me the paper. And so So we kept it on a safe place, brought it, and then it helped her give confidence that she can solve her own thing. Because that tantrum part is where she feels she's a terrible person. That's the one where she feels like the mom doesn't like her. That's the one that hurts her a lot. So if she's taking control and it's her idea, then good, then we relax, yeah? We can help them like that. Okay. And these are some questions that you can ask, examples. And I don't know if this is applicable to you, but if you want, family counseling is good for children like this. If you find the right, I think Genevieve gave a whole list of organizations. We also do that, where family counseling, but the parents need to be agreeable, that they're part, let's work towards it together. That's usually how we propose family counseling. If we have the opinion that the child is bad, parents are good, it doesn't work. But if we say it's collaborative, okay, we work together, it's a much better approach. And when I talk about safety and danger, I'm applying to the parents as well. Because we get parents who are also pushing back. Okay, they also are angry, they also have all kinds of template. So goal is always making myself and hopefully helping the teachers that we work with to be as safe as possible. But be realistic, because you also have your template. Okay, that's the first thing actually teachers, educators can do, is we are aware what doesn't work for us. Like that facilitator said, I don't know what to do with this temper. That's good, because at least she knows that this is hard for her. She's able to pick that up. And then we can start with that. Okay? And yes. And the first point is very interesting. This is actually part of a systemic idea that teachers are the first place of projections. Means if they have a template that is not good at home, you are actually the next adult they are meeting every day. And it's straight projected onto us. That's why you get children telling me for no reason, I hate you, I don't like you. Where is that coming from? I didn't do anything. It's not me. It's coming from somewhere else. And it's a space of projection, because I am the next adult. You are the next adults every day. Every day if they have a bad day, they come, they see you, then they're like, oh, I don't like you. It's all on you. Okay? That's an understanding. That's why it's not about you, it's an active template. And the second one, I cannot emphasize this enough, this is the whole self-care thing, is you too have a working template. Some kids might just get you the wrong way, and you need, that is where it needs minding, okay? And yeah, it needs attending, it needs minding, it needs some space of honesty with the self, with each other, hopefully, to talk about, oh, this kid is hard for me, let's see how we can do this better. Maybe someone else can take care of this better for now. The counselors, I believe there's some counselors in the group. Yeah, we can kind of work together. And taking time for yourself. Like I was a teacher before. I wish I had put this into practice, because I was working way too hard that time. So taking time for self-awareness, exercise, self-care, all of that, that anything that makes you happy, makes you feel relaxed, is always good for you and the kids that you're working with. Yeah, that, and I think we are at the end. Yeah, and then this quote is very inspiring. Maybe I can leave you with this. The students who challenge their teachers the most, they are the ones who actually need their teachers the most. And they do it in the most unloving, unpleasant, unfriendly way, but it's the reality. Okay, and the last one, which is a fun one, I thought I would leave you all with this. Once you master the art of facing a room full of teenagers and come out alive, you can do anything. So give yourselves a round of applause. Done very well.